Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my respected brothers and sisters. In the Holy Quran, in Surah An-Nur, verses 30 to 31, women and men are commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to lower their gazes and to guard their chastity. For men, he says, Bismillah, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ. Tell the believing men to lower their gaze and guard their chastity. And for women, وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنَّ وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَاتَهُنَّ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا. And tell the believing women to lower their gazes and guard their chastities and not to reveal their adornments except what normally appears. Now he says this because he is the creator. So there's no doubt about the fact that he knows more about his creation than they know about themselves. Let's say a watchmaker creates a watch. This watchmaker has carefully designed every gear and spring, understanding how each part functions and interacts. While other people may observe this watch and even use it, only the watchmaker knows every detail. In the same way, Allah knows every detail of His creation, our thoughts, feelings, potential, because He's closer to us than our jugular vein. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells women to cover their bodies and men to lower their gazes, it's because He knows that women naturally have the desire to be seen, which is why He tells them to cover up their bodies. And this is also a test for men, because men have the desire to see, which is why He specifically tells them to lower their gazes. And unfortunately today, a lot of Muslims, when they hear the hijab, they only think of this verse. They only see it as a veil that covers our bodies. But we must look beyond the physical aspect of the hijab. The hijab also means maintaining haya. And the word haya literally translates to shame. Because when someone has haya, it means that they have humility in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they refrain from doing anything shameful in His eyes. And this goes for both men and women, despite having different roles. We both must maintain haya, or modesty. So what is modesty, and why is it so emphasized in Islam? Well, according to Kitab al-Kafi, our Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, Al-haya'u shu'batum min al-iman. Modesty is a branch of faith. So not only is modesty something we must maintain as Muslims, but without it, we don't have a faith. And this is even said by Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salam. Man la haya'a lahu la imana lahu. Whoever has no modesty has no faith. But you may be wondering, what qualities does a person with haya have, and how can we be modest with our character, with our akhlaq? Well, first of all, we must have a pure heart and sincere intentions. It makes no sense for a person to cover their body, pray 5 times a day, attend the masjid every week, fast every day in Ramadan, but have a bad character. Because in Islam, our intention is the keystone to all of our deeds. And when you do a good deed with a bad intention, then it's automatically a bad deed. And one thing that truly shows a person's intention is how they interact with others and how they speak about others in their absence. The person who talks to others with arrogance, thinking that they're above everyone else, let's take Yazid for example. He would do anything for money and power, even if that meant killing the beloved family of our Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A corrupt heart is like a shadow, where every act of dishonesty darkens the light of your soul. And this status may seem influential in worldly terms, but to Allah, which is what really matters, they're only bringing themselves down. And another normalized aspect that tarnishes our akhlaq is backbiting. We should refrain from backbiting no matter what. And now a lot of people say, well, oh well, it's true, I'm not making it up. Well, actually, that's another topic called slandering. And gossiping and slandering are both horrible in their own ways, and they're both disliked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He warns us in Surah Al-Hujurat, وَلَا يَغْتَبْ بَعْضُكُمْ بَعْضًا أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَنْ يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا. And do not backbite one another. Would any of you like to eat the flesh of your dead brother? Obviously not, right? And the truth is, there is no reason for us to be gossiping about each other in the first place. Because we are all sinners judging each other for sinning in a different way. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is perfect. And if He is as-satir, if He is the one who conceals our sins, then who are we to expose the sins of others? And we must acknowledge that Islam is a religion of unity. Our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not a competition. We're supposed to bring each other up, not bring each other down, because that is exactly what shaitan wants. And a lot of people believe that if somebody treats them badly, then they should treat them badly as well. But the amazing thing is we may not have control over how people treat us, but we do have control over how we respond to that treatment. And the person who has haya, who has a good akhlaq, would always let Allah deal with them. Because when we have trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then our lives will be filled with peace. Let's look at our brothers and sisters in Palestine, for example. SubhanAllah, despite going through the toughest of times, watching their family members die, hospitals being bombed, not knowing where their next meal is going to come from, or if they're going to have a meal for dinner or lunch, or if they're going to be alive the next day, they still have trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they know that for certain that even if they don't have this life, the dunya, they will have the akhirah in Jannah, inshallah, and they will never be unhappy. In the end, we should remember that modesty is both in our appearance and also in our character. And our character is determined by our intentions, which should only be for the purpose of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, may we continue to be servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and not servants of our egos. And may we maintain haya both in the way we dress and especially in the way we act. Because doing this is the only way that our hearts will truly be content. I thank you all for giving me your time. Ba Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.